Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.
You're listening to Question Reality with Priscilla Leona, right here on LA Talk Radio.
To the Question Reality Radio Show. I'm Priscilla Leona, producer and host of this show, and we are coming to you live from Los Angeles, California. Now, for 14 years, we have been providing our audience with entertainment industry career advice, and this show is definitely for you if you are questioning your career reality about pursuing a career in show business, or if you already are working in the entertainment industry and you just need some tips, advice, or resource information on how to elevate your career status. Now, some of the guests on our show have included Emmy Award winners, Grammy Award winners, Tony Award winners, reality TV stars, and just a wide variety of working show business professionals who work in film and television, music, radio as producers, directors. We have casting directors, literary agents, casting agents, PR agents, talent managers, screenwriters, publicists, actors, comedians, singers, novelists, script supervisors, stunt people, celebrity makeup artists, and we throw in an entertainment attorney just for fun. No, actually, if you are at the point where you can afford an entertainment attorney, well, honey, you have arrived, because they are expensive. So, you are on your way. Now, if you missed any of our shows, here are 3 ways that you can listen to any of our past shows. So number 1, the free mobile app, which is on the App Store, the Google Play Store. Number 2, we're on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Amazon Podcasts, Google, Audible.com, Stitcher.com. Just Google us, LA Talk Radio, our Question Reality Radio Show. We're all over the place, all the social media platforms. Also on the archive page, you can listen directly from the website that you're listening to us on now, latalkradio.com. So look for our show title, which is Question Reality, or look for my name, Priscilla Leona, under the Our Host tab. And there you go. Listen to all of our shows. 14 years since 2008, still going strong. This show will be on long after I'm dead. I think so. But, my God, let's just hope we can finish out the year. Now, favor, we very kindly ask that you please subscribe to our podcast via the Apple Podcast. And you have to do this. Everybody needs a good thumb these days, a like and a follow on all of our social media pages. We're on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn and YouTube. And recently I joined the brigade, TikTok. Yes, TikTok. Oh my gosh, I had no idea, because, TikTok's for the younger people, but we as a people, we find out where the young people are going, and then we hit it up, and then it becomes an old person site. So then they go on to another site, and we invade, right? And speaking to young people, they're like, I wish you people would leave our sites alone, because first Facebook was for kids, right? We went on it. Now it's predominantly the demographics are 35 to 65. So then they moved to Snapchat. Then they moved, and here we come. We're like, where are the young people? Because all of us want to feel young, right? Young and feisty. So we want to know what the young kids are doing. We want to be hip too. So TikTok, I thought, I'm never going to get on there. But it demanded it. I went on TikTok. Oh my God. My husband, he says, what is wrong with you? Why are you on TikTok for hours? It's addictive. You go on there and you think, I'm just going to look at one thing. 2 hours later, you're laughing your ass off, having a cocktail, and wondering, where the hell has my life gone? Why, God, can't I be young again? But it's fantastic. So I would highly recommend TikTok. I love it. So I just went on TikTok, so you can find me there. But it's under Priscilla Leona, because Priscilla Leona, I started it like years ago, and I forgot my username and password, so I can't get in it. Anyway, finally, if you want to be booked on our show to promote and showcase your talents, current or upcoming projects or products, and you want to help our listeners by providing much appreciated entertainment industry career advice, please go to our official website. Now, you got to pay attention, because our official website is questionrealityradioshow.com. questionrealityradioshow.com, not the website that you're listening to us on now, which is obviously latalkradio.com. This is the website where we air our show. So again, go to questionrealityradioshow.com, and that's also where you can see our annual guest schedule. You might want to go there and take a peek at who the upcoming guests are and check out their sites. So to submit to be booked on our show, just click contact. Really, 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 really easy and short. We just need your name, email, title, and website. And that is it. Yeah, finally got through the show introduction. I've been doing this for 14 years, plus I had a television show for 6 years. And I feel like I should know this spiel by now, but do you know, all these years later, I cannot remember. That's why I couldn't be an actor. I have no retention for lines. I cannot memorize lines. You know, I have so many friends that are, you know, we're talking A-list casting directors. You know, I've one to cast for NCIS Los Angeles and Los Angeles and that, and they said, Priscilla, why could you not remember a line? We would make you a star. You are perfect. I can't do it. There's something wrong with me. But yet I can remember lines for songs from like 1920. I don't know what it is. I'm going to have to talk to a specialist about that. But I need a reality TV show. I could rock it because I don't have to memorize lines, right? It's my own lines. Yeah, you memorize my lines, what I should be saying, right? So anyway, we have a guest today. She was on in 2014. Love this woman. You cannot say the words Beverly Pomerantz without flowers floating around and music and wind blowing through your hair. It's like she should walk down the street. There should be a fan, all these things are visible, right? A fan blowing her hair and theme music playing, and Beverly has arrived, right? So we love Beverly Pomerantz. I was recently reconnected with her through a mutual friend, and we got her on the show. I can't believe it. So Beverly Pomerantz is a cast director for game shows, reality shows, movies, and plays, among other things. I don't know what she does. I'm sure it's more than that. But if you have seen your fair share of hit game shows over the years, chances are Beverly Pomerantz was behind the scenes. So some of her projects, just some, I mean, we'd be flipping through a telephone book if we listed all of them, but some of them are what she's casting for currently, I believe, which is a game show called Tug of Words with the host Ahmad Rashad. Previously, she cast for Don't Forget the Lyrics, host Wayne Brady. Love me some Wayne Brady. Oh, I love him. Love to meet him in person. She cast for Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader with host Jeff Foxworthy. Gosh, he was so funny. Family Feud, one of my favorites. I now watch Celebrity Family Feud because I love the host. The host for the show she was on, I believe, was Ray Combs. But gosh, now I can't remember who it. What is his Harvey? Steve Harvey. Yes, I love him. And just so many more game shows. So if you're interested in finding out more about Beverly, she's on imdb.com under Beverly Pomerantz, and Facebook, Instagram. So just Google her and you can find her information if you need to find it. Now, I want to say welcome to the show, Beverly Pomerantz. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, my God. You are so funny. Do you want to be on a game show? I know the person that can get you on one.
That's right. The only game.
They would love you, Priscilla. You would probably host the show afterwards.
Well, you know what? I think I would love to be on a game show. I thought about it before, but I thought, what game show would I love to be on? And unfortunately, I'd love to be on Family Feud, but none of my family members, they're all conservative people, and they have no interest in going on a game show. So I could never get on that game show. But yeah, I love that game show, and I could have been on Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader, because I'm pretty smart, believe it or not. I'm not just funny, I'm actually quite smart. But again, I submitted for that one and never heard back. But there's so many great game shows.
You know why? You know why you didn't hear back? Because you didn't go through me.
That is right, Beverly Pomerantz, the queen.
Because I casted that.
Well, you know what, Beverly? I didn't realize that we had 18 mutual Facebook friends. I can't remember them all, but I remember that Annie Wood, Eileen Gruba, J. Elaine Marcos, right? And
she's been on my shows, yeah.
Who? Eileen?
No, J. Elaine Marcos.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Isn't she fantastic? My God, what a personality. I hired her to for a couple comedy, to do a couple comedy shows, and I hosted my birthday party. Wow, she was great. She lives in New York now. I'm so bummed because I wanted to hire her for a big event, and she's in New York now. But you know who else you and I are friends with? Mike Saccalarides.
Oh, Mike, yeah.
I have been trying to get him on my radio show since 2008, but he used to do his radio show the same time I did mine. I don't know if he still does it or not, but what are the possibilities we can get Mike Saccalarides on the show?
I could probably get him on. I'll call him.
Oh, my God. All right, I'm leaving it up to you, girl. I don't know if he still does it, but I think he would be such a great host. How do you know Mike Saccalarides?
I met him. I can't remember. I met him a long time ago when we stayed friends, on and off. But I'm pretty sure I have his number, so I'll just call him and ask him.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's funny because I have no problem calling. All they can say is no, because when I worked on Family Feud, they wanted to get Roseanne Barr on against who was her husband. She was married to, and they both had a TV show. What was his name? Anyway, it was years ago.
Tom Arnold.
Tom Arnold. And so everybody said, "Oh, Rosie, I'll never get on the show." I said, "I'm going to call." I called up. I made one phone call. Guess what? A week later, she was on the show against Tom Arnold. I thought all they can say is no. Anyway,
and he actually ended up Roseanne Barr actually ended up competing against her husband Tom Arnold too.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And I can't remember who won. Was it Roseanne or Tom's team?
I'll give them a call and ask them. I don't know. I don't remember. That was a long time ago.
Remember? Oh my God. Oh, okay. Yeah, because I know.
But I think it was Roseanne. If my memory, I do think it was her. It was fun. It was really, really fun. We had a fun show because I've been casting. I worked on that for 8 years. Family Feud.
That was when Ray Combs was host.
Yes, Ray Combs was the first host. And then he left because they hired Richard Dawson to come back.
Oh, yeah.
So he came back. And then Ray, then I worked on Wild Animal Games and Family Challenge with Ray Combs. And Wild Animal Games was with the host of Ryan Seacrest was also one of the hosts of. I remember working with Ryan Seacrest. He hosted Wild Animal Games, one of his first game shows.
He is so hot. Ooh, I love that guy. Yeah. He is gorgeous. That's just my type. I tell you. Yeah. He's so hot.
Tell you.
Yeah, he was hosting American Idol. A friend of mine, Michael Orland, was the musical director on American Idol. And I used to say, "Oh, God, Michael, can't you just snip a piece of his hair for me? Get me something. He said, "What do you want to do, a voodoo spell?" And I'm like, no, but I did like a little snip of his hair if I can't meet him. But yeah, he was gorgeous guy. Now, wait a minute, back to Ray Combs. I remember that you were an interviewee on the True Hollywood Story about Ray Combs in 1997, and I didn't see it, but why were they doing a story about him?
Because he was so sad, and he ended his life. And they came over to me, and they knew I worked with him, and I remember telling them it's so sad because depression is suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And he would have just gone out. He was only 39. And I remember speaking to him like 2 weeks before that. And we just, he was just a great guy. I was really fun. I just liked him a lot. It was very, very, very sad to hear he ended his life. I don't even like to say the word.
Yeah,
but it was a great guy. And
that
a lot of
happened.
fun.
I'm sorry, we're having overlap. Like, I don't know when you're ending your conversation. I know you probably don't know when I'm ending mine. But I recently had that happen to me. June 22nd, a very good friend of mine since 1996 committed suicide. And he's my very first friend that I've ever had that committed suicide. But I don't understand it because I was just talking to him like in April. And he had called me because he wanted to become a voiceover actor. And he knows I know lots of voiceover casting directors. So he said, well, is there any way you can help me? I'm like, oh, are you kidding? Because he could do any voice there was. So I said, okay, well, why don't you get started, do this, that, this, and that, and then we'll get you set up. And the next thing you know, I get a text from his brother, and I don't, for the life of me, he was so excited about starting a whole new career. So you just can't go by that or what you think is happening, because I would never have thought that would happen. So that's very sad, suicide in general. But whoo, God, that's heavy stuff. So let's go back to the light stuff, because we're not gonna, we're not gonna bum you out, because we need to suck your energy out of you, Beverly. You know what I want to do right now? I want to do some shout outs, because when I posted that you were coming on the show, wow, did I have such a response from so many people. So I posted on there that I would give a shout out to a couple of them. So I don't know if you know them in person, but for example, shout out first to Scott Siddell. He responded and said, what did he say? Oh, shoot. I can't remember. I can't remember what he said. All right. How about, shout out Scott Siddell. Do you know him personally, or is he a Facebook friend?
No, I'm pretty sure on Facebook.
Okay.
I think Facebook. I know him, though, yeah.
What about Marla Schramm Schwartz, who said, you look so beautiful?
Oh, my God. Let me tell you about Marla. She was one of my first contestants on my first game show 37 years ago.
Wow.
All-Star Bliss with Peter Marshall. And Peter Marshall was the first host. And I never left my house on Friday nights before I ever worked in game shows. And to see Peter Marshall. And then years later, I got to work with him. So Marla was a contestant on All-Star Bliss. And we've been friends to this day. I absolutely adore Marla. Absolutely.
I love Peter Marshall. And then we had another gentleman named David Lindman who said, good luck, Beverly. Enjoy yourself. Wish I could get that station up here in Merced. Well, I let him know it was a website, so all he had to do was go there. But David, is he a friend?
David, his mother.
Hello? Oh, gosh, I think we got cut off. Oh.
Anyway, so David's the son. How funny is that?
Well, you know what? Something happened, Beverly. You got cut off, and I don't know if the audience was able to hear you, but I was not able to hear anything after you said David. So I hope the audience heard that.
Yeah, David Lindman. Yeah, he's the son of Roberta Lindman, who married my first boyfriend. And it's so funny. And now she had 2 kids, David and Melanie. And David, I've known her since we were 15. So thank you, David.
Yes. Now I'm going to just run off because you had so many that it's almost up to like 100. I'm going to just go with the first couple. There was a Jennifer Yu, a Lisa Bernfeld, a Nancy Belfi, a TJ Zale, a Karen Ryan, a Linda R. Marshall, a Tasha Dixon, a George Q. Wynn, Con Ordonis, Kelly Duff, Carol Rosen Rubinger, Sarah Shears, Greg Gordon, Soledad St. Hilaire, Karen Needle, Bernard Chidiak. Wow, you're loved.
Wait a minute. How did they find out? I don't even understand how
because it was posted. You know, girl, when you come on my show, there's a global post, international publicity here. Let me run this last one off. Karen Needle, Bernard Chidiak, and says 5 more. So when we do the show,
Bernard, I met Bernard He lives in Montreal, Quebec. Oh my gosh.
He does?
Quebec, Canada. That is amazing.
Oh,
I
yeah.
met him at a hotel.
We got listeners all over the world. I have, believe it or not, I have a weird following in this country that I don't even know what. Oh God, my husband will know the name, but it's like a break off from like Czechoslovakia. It's like some small country. I had no idea, but I do Google. I have Google Analytics hooked up to my show, so I know what countries people are listening in. I know how many people, et cetera, et cetera. It's very detailed, Beverly. But let me run it off for you real quick. Tasha Dixon.
Tasha was Miss Arizona, and after she was on the game show, we went to Greece together, and then we went to Niagara Falls together.
She's amazing. Something. Karen Needle, David
an
Calendar,
amazing artist.
David Calendar, and lastly, this is all I can do, but there's like 50 more. Barbara Mallory Schwartz. So,
oh my
wow.
gosh, Barbara Mallory Schwartz.
There was
Hi, Barbara.
Yes, there's over 210 so far, and they keep coming in. So you are very loved, and people are very excited, and they had lots of comments. If I were you, I'd go to my Facebook page, and then you can see all the comments that they left for you. Wow. But, yes, it's a very you're very popular.
I'm very impressed. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
They don't need to be on camera. They know what I look like off camera, so that was okay.
They know. They were very excited, and they're all listening to you now. Now, I saw on your Instagram page you were in photos with the late great legends Betty White and Regis Philbin, and also Jay Leno, who I met. I was an audience member, and I met him before the Tonight Show. But how do you know them, and do you have any wonderful memory about your time spent that you could share with us?
I worked with Betty White. In fact, I just found a video. I sent it to a friend. I was on the Home and Family Show. I used to review books and videos, and I found the quintuplets. So I happened to, the quintuplets were on the show, and Betty White happened to be on one of the segments. And also, he was the very first Dancing with the Stars actor, and he was on, oh gosh, I'll have to remember his name. Anyway, so Betty, I worked with her quite a number of times, and she used to go to parties. I used to go to parties at a producer's house. Sandy Stewart used to have parties, Christmas parties, and I would always go, and she was so wonderful. I have photos with her, and she's just a nice lady. She was one of the best to work with. And
what about,
and then Regis Philbin, I worked with him on a game show. What a great guy. It was just I'm trying to remember the name of it. It was a pilot of a game show, but he was the greatest guy. We would just sit and talk, and just a cool man and easygoing, and oh my gosh, I just love it.
It's so funny. I mean, when I was watching Regis and wait a minute, it was his name first. Regis and Kelly. Yeah, I didn't watch the one with Kathy. I didn't discover him until then. But I would have tears coming out of my eyes. That's how funny he was to me. I just couldn't stand it. He was everything as far as comedy to me. So, what a treat that must have been to meet him in person. Because I'm not a person. I'm not interested in. I'm not a person who has idolizes celebrities. I've never been that way. I couldn't care less. You're a celebrity. It's a job, just like anybody else has a job. But there are a couple that I think, oh my God, I'd love to meet. And Regis Philbin was one of them. And to be a friend. Yeah.
Another one, Alex Trebek. I worked with him for 4 years. Can I tell you a really funny story?
Yeah.
I worked with Alex Trebek on a class of concentration. He was so kind. He made me a model for 2 times. I modeled a car when the model wasn't there that day, and then I modeled dishes. And what I did was I took a cup and I started drinking it, and I pretend I spilled it all over my blouse. He started laughing. It was so funny. But can I tell somebody about a contestant? Because I think this is really important. So we had a contestant on. The guy is on Classic Concentration. Marjorie Goodson, that was his daughter, who was the big model for the show, but she wasn't there that day. Anyway, we had a contestant. Classic Concentration is played. You win prizes. If you win all the prizes, you get the puzzle, then you get to play for the car. He had every number for the car. He only needed 2 numbers. He had 10 seconds left, and he blew it. And I look at him, and Alex Trebek, we're like, what happened? His mother, you're not going to believe this story, the funniest story ever. His mother runs up on stage. This is 35 years ago. Runs up on stage and was very upset with him. Why did you do that? And he was, well, I wanted to go back and I wanted to win more prizes. Well, there's no guarantee. Yeah. So sure enough, he goes back and he doesn't win and he loses and he leaves with nothing. I think a fun. So now fast forward 35 years. Fast forward about 3 months ago. I'm out. I parked my car. This has never happened before. A woman walks by and said, "Your trunk is open." I closed the trunk. I started talking to her. I said, "Oh, you have a lot of enthusiasm. You want to be on a game show?" And she goes, years ago, my son was on classic concentration and he blew the car around. I go, "That was your son?" Oh my God. And we talked about it. And oh my God. It was so 35 years later, I wonder what happened to him.
Wow.
It was so funny. Oh my gosh. I have her number.
That's amazing. I mean, what are the chances, Beverly, that you would have run into her? I mean, that's just crazy. That is, wow, that blows my mind that you meet people that are associated. It's such a small world after all. So yeah, that was hysterical that you ran into her. That's amazing. Now, I think that you said that before you were casting game shows, which I think you started, I hope I'm not wrong, but 85, 86. So my question is, how did you get started in that profession? Did you always want to be a game show casting director, or how did you even get involved in that career?
No, I worked at banks. I was extremely shy, so painfully shy, nobody believes it, but I swear I was very shy. I said, when I was standing in an elevator, I would look down, I'd be so shy, I'd be in the back. And now when I look down, I'm commenting on somebody's shoes and I put them on game shows, which is absolutely true. So banking after 12 years, it really wasn't for me. And then I had another job and I was sitting in an office. So I called a friend of mine, Doris Gonzalez, God bless her. And I said, "I'm looking for a job." And she said, "Can you be dressed in a half an hour?" Merrill Heater, the producer of All Star Blitz, had me come to his home in Beverly Hills. I was so nervous. I go to his home. He said, "Can you type this?" This is when we had typewriters. And that's how long ago it was. I take a piece of paper, I put it in. He goes, "You're hired." Doris came up to me and said he interviewed 20 girls for this job. I got the job working in the front office. Art Alisi, God bless Art Alisi, such an amazing man. He's gone, but never forgotten. He said, "I think you need to go out and look for contestants and blah, blah, blah." I didn't know what he was talking about. So you know where I found contestants 35 years ago, and you know where I find them now? The exact same place. Pavilions Market in West Hollywood. 35 years ago, that's where I found, not all of them, of course, but I still find them. Just recently, I just found some. I go, "I've been finding contestants at this market for 35 years. I have the funniest stories. I could write a book." So anyway, so that's how I got started, but I was so nervous. They wanted me to start auditioning contestant, and that's when I met Marla Schramm-Schwartz. My heart was beating so fast that my leg was going up and down on the table. I had to hold the table down with my arm. And after 3 days, I went, "I'm more nervous than the contestants, but they think they're more nervous than me. So Beverly, just enjoy it." Right. And I wanted everybody to have fun. And I said, even if they don't get on, like Family Feud, they would come up to me and go, "Bev, even if we don't get on the show, we had so much fun." Because many years ago, Match Game, I think, I went for an interview. Years ago, I told a boyfriend, before I worked in TV, I said, "You're 6'7", they'll put you on." And they did. They put him on. So I went for an interview. I found it to be very intimidating and not fun. And I looked at that guy and I said, hopefully one day I can do what he does. And years later, I got to, it's like manifesting in your mind. And years later, I got to do game shows. So I met Mark Goodson in the elevator. I told him how blessed I was to work with him. And, so the rest is history. But I could go on. I could tell you so many stories you wouldn't believe.
I know. You talk about writing a book. You really, I know you're joking about that, but you really should. I mean, there is a career in it for you writing stories. I mean, at least get one book out there. Now, your first job in television, as you said, was casting for All Star Blitz. Now, that was a long, long time ago. So what was it like working on game shows back then, and how has it changed business-wise since then? What are a few of the main major differences?
Well, it's so interesting when I look back and at all the times. First of all, they have a lot more women now hosting game shows, which they didn't before.
Sarah Haynes, one of my favorites. Is that her
name? Yes.
I love her. I have seen a lot of females hosting shows, but she is my absolute favorite. I love that show, The Chase. Oh my gosh. I want to talk to you about that. Now that you bring that up, this was one of the questions I wrote down for you. Most of the game shows offer some money for being a contestant, but I noticed that a couple don't, such as one of my favorites, The Chase, hosted by my love, Sarah Haynes. And I wondered, why do they at least offer an appearance fee? I don't know. I'm going to tell you, as a person watching the show, it makes me very sad, disturbed, unnerved that these people work so hard and they don't even get 1 cent, at least not on the show. It's like, okay, they work so hard, they get to the part, and then it's like, okay, sorry, we don't have anything for you, bye. Do they at least get an appearance fee? Because no, I don't think that's right.
Well, let me tell you, I don't know behind the scenes of every game show, I'm going to be honest, but I do know some game shows. A couple of my contestants, on a certain show, I can't remember the name, they were there all day and they got like $150 a person. They couldn't use them. They weren't on the show. They didn't tape the show. They were just there all day and they weren't able to get on. So they did give them, I think, $150. So you're talking about if they get on and they don't win?
Yeah. I mean, these people they get to the final round and they get absolutely nothing.
You know what? They know, but hopefully they have fun. I'll tell you something.
They don't look like they're having fun as they're leaving that stage. They look like they're ready to plot a murder.
Well, they're sad because they thought, I didn't buzz in fast enough. I should have gotten that, So that way, yes. But I talked to them afterward, a lot of them, and they had a great time. I had a guy go to he's smarter than a 5th grader. I came to watch him film, and he was leaving. I said, why are you leaving? They couldn't use me for today. They let me go home early. I go, well, first of all, you're lucky that you go home early. You didn't have to wait all day. He says, I'm not coming back. I called him when I got home. I said, I'm not going to talk you into it, but I'm talking you into it. It's one more day of your life. Go in. And he went in. He walked in with $300,000.
What? Oh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I had a contestant, this story, a young couple, $1 million chance of a lifetime. They interviewed with me. I wasn't going to use them. I was not going to bring them back. They were very quiet. The husband was very quiet, but she called me and she said, we really want to be, is there a way we can come back and do a call back? And I was honest. I said, you're adorable. I really like your husband, but he's very quiet. We need him to be more talkative. If you can come back for an audition, a callback, come on. They did. We put him on the show and they walked him with $1 million.
Oh my gosh!
I always give people chances. If they call me, I go, do they really want to get on? Let me see what I can do. I mean, it's not fixed or anything. I give them the opportunity to audition or do a callback, and I get their energy up.
That's one of, I guess you could say, as the previous question I asked you, what the differences are from the past game shows and today, because in the past, I don't remember ever seeing a game show where you didn't walk home with at least a consolation prize. But now a lot of the shows, it's like, oh, you made it to the final round, but you didn't win. Unfortunately, we're going to have to say bye. And it's like heart-wrenching. So they're not giving money out like they used to.
Well, it depends on the show. I mean, People Puzzler, they get a year's supply of People magazine if they don't win. And Pictionary, they get a nice console. I mean, they get maybe a special kind of a coffee maker or something like that. So some shows,
so it depends which show. Yeah, it depends which show. So if you want to win nothing, then you go on, shows like The Chase. But you got to be really smart, I would imagine, to get on The Chase.
the chase, you can't win money on the chase? I'm not.
The way it works is, okay, so they have all of these previous brainiacs, like, that used to be on Jeopardy. For example, one of them is Ken Jennings. Okay, so I
had him on Family. I had him on Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader, and he did not win. Okay, go ahead.
Isn't that something? Okay, so they have all of these super, like, oh my gosh, they know everything. So they sit up on top, like the top of a pyramid, right? So they sit there, and then you have all of I think it's 5, don't quote me on it, but I think it's 5 contestants. So the initial round starts with Sarah Haynes, and you come up and you have to answer, you get a chance to answer 10 questions, and you win money to build your bank. And then whatever that amount is, that goes in your pot. And then the next show, and then a next contestant, so after all 5, whoever, each person, sorry. So after you build your pot, you go up against the chaser, right? And then you have to answer questions. So they're just trivia questions. So you could get down to the very last question, and if you don't get it right, you go home. Not 1 cent.
But they know that. Most of the people know that. They know it ahead of time. Like I said, it's a great experience for them, and they've had a lot of fun. But
they don't look like it, Beverly. I think that, they look so sad when they lose.
It's not, It's even if they got a consolation prize, they'd still be sad because they wanted to win the money. It cracks me up. It's not about the $100 they'll get as a consolation prize. It's, darn it, I should have gotten that $500,000.
Wow. Yeah, they should probably edit out how the faces of these contestants look, because it makes us as a viewer not want to watch it again, because we don't want to see people sad and depressed, because I think, God, they look so sad, like they're really genuinely upset.
But I'll tell you something. You did ask the question. You were on one of your questions, and I can answer that, because you said, like, how long, it used to be that they'd have to wait. It used to be years ago, 10 years before they get on a game show. Then it was couple years, then it was a year. But there are some game shows now they can go on one game show, and 2 weeks later they can go on another one.
So my gosh.
So it has lightened up. I can't say every network. I'm talking about every network, but some networks will allow them to.
You are amazing, because it's like you're psychic. I think you need to add that to your special skill set, because that was my very next question. Because I understood it always that you could go on, I don't know if the rules are the same, but a lot of people ask me this question. I don't know why I'm not involved in game shows, but people who are not in show business, they don't know this. But they said, so is it true that if you go on one game show that you can't go on another game show for at least a year, or you can't ever go on a game show? And I said, I have no idea what the rules are, but I do remember hearing that if you went on one game show, you had to wait at least a year. So what are the factual rules for that?
No, because every film, I don't know about every show, so I can't attest to every single show. But some of the shows I worked on, if they wait a year or maybe 6 months, or I'm doing a game show now, if they were on one, they could possibly, a few weeks later audition for another, because they're not going to air immediately. It's not like one's going to air and then 2 weeks later the other one's going to air. It might not start taping till 3 months later, but they can still audition.
But I heard that they asked that question on the interview form. Have you auditioned or been on?
They do that.
And they won't cast you if you have.
No. That's what I'm saying. It's not like that anymore with some shows. With some shows, because I already asked my producer, so-and-so's been on this show. Can I bring them on your show? And they go, yes, you can.
Oh.
So it's all up to the company. So there's nothing set in stone anymore is what I want to say. So people should, if they want to audition, just try to audition, and if they can get in, or just call. No, I won't say call me.
Stop it.
No, I can't.
No, Bev, I'd love to know. I know you can't. Okay, so I'd love to know which was your absolute favorite show to work on and why. But I won't ask you that question on the air, maybe privately. But I guess I'll reword it and say, in your opinion, what would you say would cause a game show casting director to love working on one game show over another one?
Well, now every casting director might be different. I don't mind telling you, I I loved all the game shows. I'm in the field now, so I don't go into. I love what I do. I'm so blessed that I get paid to go shopping, go to the market, go wherever. I find, and I'm not 23, but anyway, I'm still finding people. But Family Feud to me was a hoot.
Yes.
Because you meet all different kinds of families. You just meet all different kinds of family dynamics. And it was, I'd walk in and everybody stand up and applaud me. I was cracking up.
Oh,
it was, but I really play Steve Harvey's part behind the scenes. I'm like the host of the show because I play exactly what he does. I do behind the scenes. I play the game with everybody. One team. I go to the next team. I play with the next team. And I always said, whether or not they get on, you'll love this, whether or not they get on, they'll have fun, and they always come up to me. So I'm interviewing a contestant, and I looked at him, and I said, excuse me, I think you were at my Sweet 16 birthday party. Beverly. He was.
Well, I think, in my opinion, Steve Harvey is the best host of Family Feud, and I've gone through all of them. But I think because he's naturally funny, and those suits he wears, OMG times 3. I've never even seen these suits. Like back in the 70s, I didn't see any suit that looked like that. I think they're custom made for him, but he rocks that show. He's so funny, and his energy level is always consistent. So, so last Sunday, Kristen Chenoweth was on the show. Now, my friend Michael Orland, as I told you, was the musical director for American Idol. He's working with Kristen Chenoweth. Now they're doing, I think she's doing a one-woman show. But anyway, he's her, I guess, her musical director for her one-woman show. But anyway, she was on the show Sunday, and I had to send Michael a text, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe she said that. Well, Steve Harvey asked the question. I'm going to paraphrase. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like, other than the lips, what other body part on a man would you love to kiss? And she said, and they bleeped it out. I don't know if okay.
But I guess we could all imagine what she said.
It rhymes with genius. It rhymes with genius.
Right.
Steve Harvey did not know what to say, and it is so rare. And then he is caught off guard, right? Because he's always got some. But he thought about it, and he rocked out some great answers the rest of the show. So I think that's really part of being a great game show host, is being able to interact with the contestants and having some jokes. But some game shows, the game show hosts are so dry, and I think as soon as I see it, I'm like, that won't last next season. That won't last next season. Do you base your whether or not you accept a project based on the host? Like, do you get to meet them first and you go, I don't want to waste time because this isn't going to last like another
Never. I would never do. I know if I like the show and I get hired and it's fun, I know. And every game show host I have ever worked with, I have loved. There's not been one host I could say I would not want to work with again. I was a chaperone for the dating game, and they sent me to Bangkok, Jamaica, Alaska.
What, the original dating game, right? Because that second one that was just on, oh my God, it was. I'm just going to say it my own. It was cringy for me, but the original one was. Oh, I loved it.
Oh, well, they sent me all over the world. I just go. So those last few years, I contacted some of the 19-year-old girl that I had her cousin on a game show. I've contacted some of the kids that I chaperoned. I stayed in touch with them now, but it was just it was great. So I got to work with Jim Lang because he hosted $1 Million Chance of a Lifetime. So I was the chaperone on the dating game when he was the host, and then I got to work with him. I worked with Chuck Woolery on Home and Family. I had my own segment on. I had my own segment on the Home and Family show where I would review books and videos, and it was Christina Ferrari and Chuck Woolery, and he was the host of the show.
Don't you think he was a handsome man? Oh, my mother loved him. Oh, she just said, he's so sad.
And a nice guy.
Good luck. Now, I want to get to a couple questions, and we only have 5 minutes. So, I had a lot of people write in when they found out you were going to be on the show, and they were asking questions. So I'm just going to ask a couple of them. Number one question that most of them were asking overall was, what do game show casting directors look for in possible game show contestants? Because one girl named Lisa, was it Lisa from Sacramento, she said that she auditioned for 5 game shows and she wasn't cast. And she said first they told her, you got to be upbeat and energetic. So she said she was upbeat and energetic. She didn't get cast. Then you got to be serious and look like you're interested. So she took everybody's instructions. She was not cast. So again, what do game show casting directors look for?
Well, I had a game show seminar, and I called it PAPA: promptness, your appearance, your personality, and your ability. They want you to be prompt. If you've got to come in on a certain time for the audition, be there in time. Look like you're going to be on television. Dress the way you would on TV. Also, your personality. When you walk in, hi, oh my God, I'm so excited. This is, such a treat to actually audition for the game show. And then your ability to play the game. Hopefully you know how to play the game. Now, I did on $1 Million Chance. I had a couple. They lived in a trailer park. She told me, she said she interviewed for every game show in town. I understood why they didn't choose her, but something about her I liked. I just thought, you know what? I am going to give them a chance. I put them on the show. They walked on with $1 million. Because I see through things that sometimes people, I don't see tunnel vision. I kind of look beyond it, and I can get something out of them. But it's important. I had a girl, I always tell people, you're going to be nervous. It's good to be nervous, but be nervous excited, not nervous tense. Because when you're nervous excited, you babble. When you're nervous tense, you block out. And the audience, the more fun you have, the audience is going to pull for you. So we had a girl on. Her name is Michelle. It was Catch 21. She couldn't see me. The answer was vinegar. She answered vinegar. And then she told me, walk around. And she looked at me and she goes, I mean vinegar. That was so funny. The audience started laughing. So, it's just having fun. It's being kind. It's being,
there are
appreciative
some
and
people I
silly.
see that are mellow and calm, and they end up winning. So it's like,
on Jeopardy.
They end up on Jeopardy. Right. So I guess maybe the tip for people is choose a game show that meets, maybe, and you correct me if I'm wrong, that matches your personality. Because if you go on there and you try to be fake, the camera not only can see you, but that sees who you are. So if you're trying to be fake, it will pick it up immediately. So pick a game show that matches your personality. Am I right, Bev?
No, 100%. You have to, and that's why your ability, make sure you know how to play the game too, and that you're having fun with it. That you're, and then you're laughing, whether you win or not, you're applauding for yourself and you're enjoying what you're doing, because you're right. Not everybody's going to win. Some people are going to make that face you were just talking about.
Yeah.
Priscilla.
Well, we got 2 minutes. Let's talk about the word tag that you're currently working on now. That's the current show you're casting.
Tug of Words. It's called Tug of Words. It's on Game Show Network.
What the hell did I say? Yes, Tug of Words.
Tug of Words. It's a partner. I always tell people just to have fun. I met people today when I was out, and I said, you want to be on Tug of Words? Oh my God, you should have seen these 2 guys. They're partners. I said, you are going to be so much fun on the show. I'm putting their name in tonight. They were so great, and they were helping me pick out face serum. Now, this is what you look for, and this is what you don't look for. They were great. So you got to be on a game show. So I'm sending their name in.
I've never known this guy. Is it Ramada Shah? I cannot remember his name.
Yeah, Rashad.
Yes, I've never seen it. Is this his first time hosting? I've never seen him on another.
Yeah, he's been. I think he was a sports.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's hosting this year or not. I don't know. They haven't told me yet. But he's a great guy. I casted that last season. I had a lot of contestants on the show, and Tug of Words. It's really a lot of fun. The producers are great.
I love it. I had not heard of that show before until I talked to you. But when I went on YouTube, which everybody can go on YouTube and watch full episodes on there, it's called Tug of Words. And I was so good, Beverly. And thank you, by the way, for asking me to be on the show. I would have loved it.
You would have been great.
Oh, my gosh. I would have been great. But, that's another thing I want to talk about real quick. People who have problems, for example, I tore both of my meniscus, so I'm in a power chair for a while until I heal. But I guess that would be considered, maybe if you don't get out of the chair one day, it would be considered handicapped. Isn't there any kind of effort being made to cast more people who have disabilities, or is it just not going to happen?
Oh, no. No, they've casted. We had a girl on Family Feud. She was in a wheelchair. She was a quadriplegic. We had her on Family Feud. We had Stanford versus Berkeley, and she was amazing. So, no. And, first of all, don't forget, if you have to stand the whole time, that might be a different type of show for you. But there are shows where you can sit, So I think they would allow anybody to be on if they can play the game.
So I guess it depends. You need to, because clearly Tug of Words, you got to stand. And then, at the end, it's like, come on. Can you imagine me playing Tug of War in general? They'd say, oh, she cheated. She's got that chair that she can brace herself. Off with her head, right? Off with her head. But I just nailed that game. I was like, obviously we love game shows when we're really, really good at it. I went through the first round. Boom. I was saying the answers before they even thought about it. I'm like, boom, boom, boom. But they got harder when they got to the fifth round. I had to actually think for a while. But I was like, yes, won that. Next. I'm ready to go into my next game. I'm going to be watching that. It's now one of my favorite game shows. So it's
on Game Show Network, and that's a great. I worked with Game Show Network when they first opened up many, many, many years ago. They're a great network, and also I was just doing Pictionary for Fox, so that's fun too.
So what? We got like 1 minute, but what can we expect? Some more game shows? What do you got on the horizon, Bev?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure I'll be casting more game shows. When one stops for me, then another one usually comes up. And
if people are not lucky, sorry, we got that overlap. Sorry, I don't know when you're stopping. If people are not lucky enough, Beverly, to find you in a grocery store, where can they submit and say, hey, please keep me in consideration for your next game show? Where do they go? Do they go to your Facebook?
Well, they could go to my Instagram. I probably will not contact them until I'm actually casting a show.
Yeah.
Because this one might end next week. And when I'm out, it's great because I can see everybody in person, what they're like, and we laugh. I could tell you stories that just happened to me.
Well, see, we're going to have you come back next year. And then I want to make it the whole show nothing but Beverly Pomerantz stories, the greatest hits. So be working on gathering your greatest hits, and also get working on that book, because people would buy I'm telling you, I'm not even joking, Beverly, that you joke about that, but I'm telling you, you need to write a book for sure, because it
and by next year you will be out of your wheelchair and you'll be on a game show.
Be out of my power chair. It's not a wheelchair. I said, if I'm going to be in this thing, I'm gonna be a power. I'm gonna have some power, right? So I'm tooling around in a power chair. All right, sweetie.
Power.
Well, thank you so much for being a guest on the show. Thanks everybody for listening in. As always, Beverly Pomerantz rocks an interview. If anybody's out there who wants to bring her on their show, obviously you can tell she's a great guest. So, Beverly, thank you so much for being on the show, and thank you. Say goodbye to your fans. You obviously have millions.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. I had no idea. I'm like cavelling. It's like
convincing. I'm convincing.
I'm schwitzing. No, I'm just very my heart when you told me all the names of the people, Priscilla, my heart was like, wow. I'm like,
well, you have no idea. It's gone up from there, but we're going to have to go. So if you tune in to Beverly's show next year, I'm going to have her on. We will do another shout out, and hopefully she'll tell a little story about you. So again, thank you, Beverly. Thank you to everyone tuning in. We'll see you next week on Question. Oh, guess who's going to be on next week? Kevin Sorbo from Hercules. The legend continues. Remember, big, huge Kevin Sorbo, Beverly, from Hercules. Yeah, he's going to be my guest.
My heart was like, wow, I'm impressed. Everybody loves you, Priscilla. Nobody would say no to you, so that's right.
Well, I don't know. Harry Styles, I got to get a hold of him, and hopefully he won't say no to me.
And I'm going to call Michael Saccolarides for you right now.
Thank you so much, sweetie. Thank you for being on the show. We'll see you next week, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
You're listening to Question Reality with Priscilla Leona, right here on LA Talk Radio.